Welcome back, my thrill seekers. I'm your host, Dr. Luke. Today we're going to be talking about the key few people that you need on your staff in the beginning. This is what worked for us. This was experience that I have. This was also passed on to me by some mentors, and it worked really well. I'm going to say, hey, listen, give or take, it's your business. You do what you want. Yours might look slightly different. So the first person that you need, and I'm actually putting these in order. Getting a chief financial officer. Or if you're just going to get an accountant, go to some service. I don't even care. Do not, unless you're an accountant yourself, don't manage your books. Do not manage your books. Our CFO, for instance, has about 40 years of experience as an accountant, as accounting professor, and has also grown businesses from scratch, several medical practices, and helped sell them off for a bunch of money. So we got lucky in that regard, right? Because that guy happens to be my father, who I talked about in another video, working with family. But I'll tell you what, my dad actually saves us more money a year because of his financial savvy than he costs us in his salary, which is insane. And he does it even through COVID and all the nastiness that there was. He took care of all the different taxes. And when we work with different states and have employees from different states, you have to pay taxes in each and every state. They all have different codes. Making sure that QuickBooks is set up correctly and you're doing everything right. I would tell you that even if you're paying a part-time or a service or something like that, somebody who's an accountant that actually knows the tax laws and codes, they are worth their weight in gold. I promise you. You don't want to mess with money, and also keeping you at bay. That's why he's called the chief financial officer, not just our accountant, because he also helps us prevent the number one. If you look up the stats on failed small businesses, it's cash flow issues. Guess what he did in the beginning? He made sure that we didn't have low cash flow issues. He would either tell me, you can't make that decision. It's going to cost A, B, C, and here's why, and walk everything through, so we can prevent spending money where we didn't need to, or here's where you can free up. I can shuffle this. I can do this. You can get, if you need a line of credit, we can set you up over here. All these types of things. He took care of all of that. I didn't do a thing. Payroll protection during COVID. He took care of everything. That was like just going on behind the scenes. CFO, or at least at a minimum an accountant. Highly recommend it. Next one. Someone who is just unbelievably good at admin. Now, I'm not talking about a secretary who's going to take your phone calls and schedule your meetings and stuff. Guess what? Do it yourself. I'm talking about somebody who is actually good at like real admin. Like, hey, we're going to look up the trademark process. Do you think you could help get that started? Yeah, and guess what? I fortunately have that in my wife. My wife hates admin stuff, but she's freaking good at it. That's the thing. You can tell her, hey, we're registering in the state of Texas because we're moving from the state of Michigan. Okay, yep. Next thing you know, she's on the phone with the business organizations. She's on the phone with the government organizations with the state of Michigan, the state of Texas, and they're starting the transfer paperwork. So do we need to transfer? Do we need to start a new company? All that type of stuff is going to happen. Also, we don't have a professional proposal writer and we work with the government, but she takes the lead on that. She knew nothing about government contracting. I knew the ins and outs of it, but not how to contract or like write a contract. I knew nothing. So we didn't really know anything, but through all her research and dedication and hard work, she got enough examples and worked with companies who would say, hey, she'd work with companies and ask the right questions and basically get them to help out with a rookie company in the beginning. And now we can write our own proposals. And we've landed a lot of business that way. Now, I would recommend getting a proposal writer if you're government, though. That's honestly our next employee is going to be a full-time proposal writer. But I'm just saying, in the beginning, you got to scrap for food, man, right? So what are you going to do? You got to step up and have somebody who's not afraid to get dirty with admin. There's so much admin crap, it'll make your head spin. And the reason I don't do it myself is because somebody has to be focused on the actual product or service itself. And since we are a training and consulting company, I will stay on the front lines. We're growing the company now, but when I would stay on the front lines and actually like be in the classroom and working with the clients all the time. So I stayed focused on the interactions with them so that we could keep them happy at all times, right? And growing the business. How can I make more offers when I'm in there, right? Upselling and doing all that. So I focused on the clients She focused on the admin stuff, so I didn't have to. I would just, after a class at night or consulting with a client or something, she would ask me a few questions and we would work through it 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, put together those couple of pages worth of writing, and voila, there it is. But you need somebody who is freaking good at admin. No questions asked. Somebody's got to be good at it because you can't focus on everything at once. I promise you. It is too overwhelming, all the admin stuff. I can't even make a 30-minute video about all the admin things that are required in a small company. They pop up every freaking week. So somebody has to know how to do it. And the last one, personally, we don't have this, probably should, but a lawyer. I was told this in the beginning too. Somebody, even if it's a contract lawyer, somebody you can keep on retainer. Maybe they have shares in your company if that's the route you're going to go, right? Just somebody who's on retainer, because things do happen. We just got really fortunate because my dad, being as connected as he was, and in that legal world and growing companies and stuff, he had connections with lawyers that are friends of his that have been lawyers for, again, 40 years. And he would say, hey, Bob, let me ask you a couple of questions. And Bob would just for free help him out. So we just got lucky, okay, just very lucky. But I would strongly suggest that having a lawyer on retainer, because a lot of legal things can happen. You got to be really careful. There's insurances that you're going to need, and they can help you read through contracts, make sure you're not getting screwed over. I mean, we work with some of the biggest companies in the world. The contracts we receive from these guys are huge sometimes. I'm talking 30 pages of just all sorts of legal jargon. And fortunately, we have somebody review them and look over them. So each one of us does it, then we send it to a lawyer friend. They'll look it over sometimes, and then we make sure that if we don't understand something, that before we sign, we actually do. So a lawyer is going to be a very important one. Now, there are other people. We also have an IT. So we're an online business now. We did not start out online, but if you're going to have a website and e-commerce or consulting or training online, IT is going to be your fourth person for sure. I would almost put IT above the lawyer. I mean, for obvious reasons, is that we actually have somebody with IT. We have lawyers we have access to, but I might take the IT person and put them up higher, because when you're managing the website and trying to run the business, again, I'm telling you, you will run out of time. There's not enough time in the world to make that happen, for you to do the admin, for you to do the building the website and maintaining it, making the changes that are going to come to your head every freaking week. Something new is going to pop up you want to put on the website, and then you got to go in there and do it. Our IT guy takes care of that, builds the database for managing all the records and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about like SharePoint or Microsoft type of SharePoint. I'm not talking about the Microsoft type of database. I'm talking about we have an external database, but we have an actual IT guy. So whole point is, let me give you a quick summary. Number one, accountant. I would say that you can't go without an accountant. I would argue you cannot, unless it's just you and you're going to stay just you. You start getting employees and stuff like that, you better get an accountant and somebody who knows what the heck they're doing, especially when you're crossing state lines and stuff. Admin is they're the ones who's going to save your rear end about every week. They're going to bail you out. You started the company, which means you're the subject matter expert in whatever it is, whatever product or service, which means you're focused on that. And those little ankle biter admin things are going to come up, which can tear you down fast. They'll burn you out, and you're not going to be able to keep moving forward. 3, so I'll readjust and not say lawyer, but IT, if you're online, for sure. Got to have somebody. You cannot maintain all that stuff yourself. I know some of you are going, yes, I can, and I do right now. Good. That means you're small, and you're going to stay small, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you think you're going to grow, and you think you're also going to be, worried about building websites and updating databases and all this other stuff, good on you. If you think you're going to grow your business and be able to focus in 4 different directions, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not. You're going to be small and stay small, and there's nothing wrong with being small. I think that's cool. I think that's a wonderful place if that's where you want to be. But you're not going to tell me you're going to be the CFO, you're going to be the chief, tech guy, and you're also going to be the lawyer, and you're also going to be the admin. I'm going to tell you right now, you're never going to grow. Never, ever. You're focused on too many things at once. And you can either have really fat pockets, which is what, of course, everybody wants in the beginning, or you can get to the point where I did, and I think it was early last year, I didn't have a heart attack, but I was stressed to the point where I actually was in such pain I couldn't even stand up. My chest was so tight, and I was so stressed out. So if you want to experience that, keep doing all those jobs. If you don't, then you'll learn to let go of some of your money. I promise. And those are the four people, whatever order you want to put them in, those are the four people you're going to need to succeed. Hope that helps. Keep doing what you love.